Well, thank you. Welcome at our Christmas gathering. This is the first one of hopefully many to come. We have some visitors from the UK and Scotland even. Ian Keynes from RFCom, Daniel Corneef from Elva. We have some high delegates from the Dutch building industry, Mr. Yami and El Yacoubi. We have Michiel Stuit from Colt present. So there are the industry is represented. From our side, it's Nimo Garial, Director of Engineering and what else?
Design.
And design. Yeah. So Director of Engineering and Design. He has I think 40 years of experience designing all kinds of communications infrastructures. We have Deepak Kasi, our former CEO. It was too bad for him, and so he ran away. He became a life coach, can you imagine? So Deepak is one of the many angels that we have. He has a vested interest in our success because he has, I think, around 100,000 euro invested, personal money. So he's an angel. Thank you very much. And so Deepak, he's a devil, but we'll call him an angel. So Deepak first became an angel and then became the CEO of Netherlands. And that was quite some time back. And then a few months ago, he decided to go on his, go for his passion. And that is life coaching and so on. And he'll tell a bit more about that in a bit. He just returned 2 days ago from the Tony Robbins Date with Destiny event, where he is a senior leader. So, if I need some coaching, then I'll go to Deepak. Daniel is, I'm very proud to have you next to me, Daniel. Daniel is a pioneer in the microwave, millimeter wavelength radio industry. We have some major business opportunities together. We'll explain that in a bit. And Ian Keynes is his European rep, doing good business for Daniel and Elva. I myself am the founding investor of Angie Communications and its predecessors. That dates back to the times of satellite broadband in 98 to 99. And I have quite some interest in the next generation communications industry. That's where the name comes from, Angie. Angie is the phonetics pronouncement of the letters N and G for next generation. So we found it funny. I think what we are set to do now in this industry is going to be really, they use the word paradigm shift very freely. But I think what we're going to do now, and this is the gathering to do a bit of explanation, is really going to be a paradigm shift in communications industry, in the next generation communications industry. And how that works will start in a bit. But so yeah, this is the gathering that we have organized. We have a major press release coming up, I think Wednesday. If not Wednesday, then Thursday. And this is the precursors event for that major announcement. And this is then a good transition for me to start about the business itself, the vision of the grand vision behind Angie and our major plant. So we have no presentations to make. We said in the program there will be presentations, but that's just a matter of expression. It's more a free debate or a free dialogue with you guys, as well as for us an opportunity to present in a bit personal way the major developments that are at stake now, as well as in the wireless industry, as in the wired industry, whether you talk about radio or fiber. There are so many developments now in the industry, as well as with Angie, that there's so much to explain. So that's why this gathering is a premium opportunity for that. So I think what we'll do, and you can interrupt and interject, Nirmal, if you want. Let's explain in a bit detail what Angie Communications is about to embark on, let's say from January next year. First, let me get a sip of water.
Just in between the two, did you mention Michel in your introduction?
Sorry?
Not yet, but I'll wait.
Oh, Michel! He is our Irish guy. So Michel is our... Scott, sorry. Scott's our handsome, yeah. So Michel is our sales and acquisition guy. He is the reason we're going to be successful, right?
I'm already.
Thank you, you're right. And Ari is our great designer. The nice things that you see from Angie. It's not that I'm sitting behind a computer desk and doing some Photoshop. No, that's him. He is the main designer for Angie. He has designed some campaigns that will start in big way in newspapers and magazines and so on in all the markets, Netherlands, Germany, Netherlands, UK, and USA. But that will be from, let's say, January, February onward. And all those nice, the invitation that you got was designed by him, not by me. So if it's not nice, you can blame him. But no, he's a pro. By the way, Ari is the guy who gave me my first office desk 24 years ago. Yes. So I came to, I went from, small business, a really small business to an office business, and I got my desk at his office, where he was the managing director of a nice, trendy, what do you call it? Media studio, yeah. So advertising and publishing. So very thankful for Ari.
Set up a magazine.
Yeah, exactly. So Ari and I go way back, 24 years, as a matter of fact. So you can see we're still talking together. We're still loyal to each other. Thank you. So let's talk about Wireless Extreme. That's our brand name for what we call then a gigabit connectivity wirelessly. Now, 10 years ago there was this whole event. The whole industry became gigabit hungry. The communications industry, and 10 years later, still, how many cities are gigabit cities? How many gigabit connections are there operational? So what does that say? Because it's not been successful. Gigabit wired, right? Fiber connectivity. But that's a 10-year-old, a decade-old vision. Gigabit here, gigabit there. And fast forward 2016, now 2017, what do we have? How many do we have? Well, almost zero, or nothing, nothing major. So there's stagnance, say, in the industry, in the market. Because what you have to do is, when you bring something to the market, I believe, you will have to do it at the right price. Not just the right time, but the right price. So what I believe is mostly an educated guess, there is a fact, and that is that a fiber operator thought, let's give you a 100 megabit service for this price, and anything above it will be a premium. But people are not willing to pay a premium price for something faster. You know, a little bit faster email or a little bit faster serving. You know, that's not the reason people will switch to fiber or to a premium subscription. So this has been the problem. Now, we as Angie and our predecessor companies have been working on this industry since 16 years. And you would say, well, what the hell did you do then by, in those 16 years? Well, first of all, we got older and wiser. You know, I had curls when I started this industry, and I was really handsome and not so. I was half the size of now. But, you know, what did I do? What did Angie, what did my team and I do in the last 16 years? By the way, a lot of our team members back then are still members right now, at the moment. But what did we do? Did we become billionaires or even multi-10 millionaires? No, not really. But that was not the idea anyway. The idea was to put up a major company, and then of course all the other things will fall in place eventually. But the idea was to do something major, nationwide, not a little cute project here and a little cute project there. So there has been thousands of fiber to the home rollouts in the industry, in the world. But when I started with my little team back then, in 2000, early 2000, that's 16 and a half years ago, almost 17, you check it out. How many fiber projects were there in the world? Zero. There were a few pilot tests by the major guys that wanted to do some testing and everything. That's part of their ongoing business. But there was no commercial business for fiber to the home. We evangelized fiber to the home 17 years ago. And then when you fast forward to towards 2017, in a country like Holland, there are 2.5 million fiber connections made out of the 7+ million in total market. That means 35% of the Dutch households have a fiber connection. But how many are paying for it? How many have it activated? Let's say 500,000. So that's not impressive for an industry that has 10 years of legacy. It's not impressive. However, now times are changing. Technology is changing. For the first time in history, and if I'm wrong, correct me please. So, for the first time in history, wireless technology has overtaken wired technology. That's with the advent of the newest generation of Wi-Fi technology. We in the industry know it as 802.11, and this particular iteration is AC. And there's now Wave 2 since let's say a year. And Wave 3 is coming up. Wave 3 is more a marketing term, but it's the full functionality of Wave 2. But that's going to make things even crazier for the wireless industry. So for the first time in history, you would be able to say, why not roll out wireless connections, wireless technology to the people instead of physical fiber? Now, of course, these guys, Mr. Yami and Al Yakubi, make their money in rolling out fiber, but we'll get there. We'll get there. But we think that the last few hundred feet could be done now wirelessly. We don't think so. We know so. And that's because of the revolutionary changes, advances in Wi-Fi technology. That means that your last few hundred feet could be Wi-Fi. Now, this is not the same as Wi-Fi technology 10 years ago, of course, when cities were announcing, oh, let's do city Wi-Fi and we'll give it for free or whatever. You know, I was not a proponent of that back then. I wrote in a white paper about it, that, you know, it was the wrong business and deployment model. But now, it is. It is possible. There is some limitation, of course. There are many limitations, of course, are restrictive issues that you have to overcome. But technology-wise, it is possible. So here we go. We say wireless extreme is fiber to as many locations possible in your neighborhood, in your residential neighborhood. Let's say 100 points, locations in 1 square mile in your neighborhood, fibered up, and then the last bits will be wireless. It's possible. So why fiber? Well, the whole thing is about backhaul. Now, we're not talking about a wireless mesh technology, you know, and I won't go into too much technical detail. So access-wise, we don't do a mesh technology yet. We do a kind of a super hotspot kind of deployment. And that's important because wireless, and we'll talk about wireless mesh on the 10 gig level in a bit with Daniel, but this is about, you know, the access bit, right? You know, the last 100 feet, let's say. The deployment of wireless mesh is important for those that want to minimize the backhaul. So instead of 100 fiber locations, they would want 1 or 2 or 3 fiber locations that will take care of the backhaul. We say it's not enough, especially when we want to promise you, let's say, gigabit connectivity. And that's an important differentiation because something as an calculation, if one technology, one wireless node would be able to transmit 1.5 gigabit per second, and you would have 3 of them at one location, you would need 3 times 1.5 gigabit throughput. That's, how much is that? 4.5. So 4.5 gigabit per second throughput needed at that location. No other technology can do that other than fiber. Right? Okay, make sure. So fiber is the backhaul technology of choice. Unless you build that out to so many points in your neighborhood, there will be a bottleneck. Anyway, so the promise of wireless technology, technological revolution must be at par with, you know, the fiber deployment. That's as simple as it is. But that means we are pulling fiber. Angie is pulling fiber to your neighborhood, almost everywhere, except not to your home, but to those 100, 120 locations in your neighborhood. Then there is this other thing that we call wired extreme. Wired extreme is our fiber product, where we are saying there are so many buildings connected with fiber already. We call that on-net buildings. You know, the Colt is here. He knows this industry. That's an on-net industry, on-net market. There are, for example, in Netherlands, there are around 12,000 buildings connected with fiber. In Netherlands alone. In London alone, there are 4,000 plus buildings connected with fiber. Crazy thing is, in Los Angeles, in our market that we have, only 200. It's crazy. Of those that are available to us at the moment. So there's a whole disparity there. But anyway, that's another story. So we say, look, wired extreme is going to be available to all those on-net buildings and any buildings nearby. So we would be able to make a deal with the likes of fiber operators like Colt, and they will be happy campers and will be happy campers, because we have developed a unique business model with the industry where we say Angie will connect buildings, in those markets. We're talking about markets in Netherlands, UK, and Netherlands. We're also talking about Brussels, but that's another story. And that means that we say to the market, to the public, here guys, you have the opportunity to give us a call and get your building connected with 10 gig. There are very few restrictions from Angie's side to get that going, because we know what we're doing with that connection. And it's very important to get that building access. So let's say out of the 1,000 buildings in Amsterdam, we would be, we may take 20%. That becomes a customer or an Angie building. But that's still 200. 200 buildings in Amsterdam. It's not really peanuts. It's powerful. It's important, because we would then build that infrastructure and it would become our premium backhaul for our wireless extreme. Wireless extreme is going to be citywide, everywhere, where we use those on-net buildings as anchors. And Michiel, don't raise your prices, okay? Michiel knows the business model anyway. So we use those on-net buildings as our anchors. Now, there are, of course, buildings nearby that are not on-net. We call them near-net or off-net. That's where things get interesting, especially for Angie. And in its return, in its extension, in return for the market. Because for the first time in history, there's another opportunity. This is, of course, 10 gigabit we're talking about per building. So what we come up with is the following. We say, okay, if you are in one of those postcodes, nearby those on-net buildings, in USA we have 87 cities, 10,000 buildings, and we're saying any building surrounding that one or that particular address is most likely going to be able to be connected to Angie. So there will be a multiplier effect of how many buildings are there surrounding. 1, 2, 10, 15, I don't know. We'll see.